Well, hello everybody. How are we? Just let everybody join. Turn the light on, make it a bit brighter. Oh, quite enjoying doing these live videos. So I thought I'd do another one while I'm waiting for a video to export, which is probably going to take about 20-25 minutes. So I thought I'd share that time with you guys. Where are you coming in from? Hope you are well. Hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're following all the guidelines and all the rest of it until we are safely out of the other side. Yeah, these, before anybody asks, these glasses are blue. You can actually see it a little bit. They're blue light filters. So because I spend so much time on my phone and on my laptop, I struggle to sleep if I work too late, and it's 8:30. So it's already it's already 8:30. So you know, if I keep these on, I can actually get to sleep a little bit easier rather than just not wearing them. Well, that was interesting. That was a good description, wasn't it? Crikey. That coffee's definitely worn off. Coming in from Hertfordshire, from Finland. Go Finch. I'm taking that as a compliment. Thank you very much. Hey, Zach. How you doing, mate? How you doing? Four-eyed freak. Wow, you seem lovely. Apparently clubs are opening Monday. Yeah, I don't know. I've given up kind of hoping it's just going to be when it is. I don't want to put too much stock in it, because if I get all excited and I'm like, oh, you know, it's going to be on Monday, I'm going to get this video ready, I'm going to be ready, I'm going to can't wait to get filming. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're staying inside for another 2 weeks. That would kind of stress me out a little bit. But what I've done is kind of the question section is live. So if you want to ask a question, please do. This one from J. August Meyer. How soon will you be able to get out on the golf course? So potentially from next Monday, but it all depends on the restrictions, because golf was certainly in the UK, golf was one of the last things to be banned, so last thing to be locked down. Now, it would make sense potentially for it to be the first thing that reopens, but like I said, let's not hope too much. I'm just getting a load of ideas lined up next week for what we're going to be doing coming out of lockdown. Loads of clubs to test, loads of ideas that I've got. It's just making it happen. Loads of guys just saw some comments about the Eric Anders Lang podcast. It's a really good chat. I've just got a clip gone live on my main YouTube channel, but the main podcast is live on your favourite podcast provider and on the Rough Cut Golf YouTube channel as well. So if you've not watched that, I'll give you something to watch in a little bit later on. Oh, questions are flooding in. So what is your favourite golf club? Now, I'd probably say at the moment this G4 110. But I've got, just behind the camera here, all my clubs lined up in a rather special arrangement. That is because this weekend we have the What's in the Bag dropping, the final Build My Bag episode of the year, and that is going to be dropping. So very excited for that. And it's also going to coincide with the biggest ever giveaway that's ever been on my channel. So you want to be staying tuned for that. Stay tuned to Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube over the weekend. You are not going to want to miss out. Trust me, it's absolutely class. I think this is a class giveaway anyway. Have you got any drills for the takeaway? So my personal drill is to hover the club just before I take it away. So let me kind of address this point once and for all, shall we? So on the takeaway, I hope I've got enough room here. On the takeaway, rather than having the club on the ground, I just hover it a little bit. Now, for me, that makes it feel like I can get the takeaway just a little bit easier. If you want to check your takeaway, when you get to this halfway point, if the camera is behind you like this, so it's looking down the line, if you can get that club basically resting pretty much on your hands, slightly on the outside or slightly on the inside, is absolutely fine. But if you get it within this zone, this circle of acceptability, and then as you start to set your wrists, if you can get it going through that right forearm, all you then have to do really is just whack the ball, get that rotation and get that turn, and then you set for a pretty decent top of the backswing position. As you're rotating down, if it goes through that right forearm again, happy days. But get it within that kind of zone of acceptability around the hands, and then, yeah, just turn and whack it. All about turning and whacking it. What's the first course that you're going to play after lockdown? I don't know. What's this one? Are you going to do another match with Rick in Vegas? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm going to be getting loads of ideas together for who to film with and what we are going to film. And obviously, you know, depends on other people's schedules as well. I don't know what Rick's going to be doing after lockdown. I imagine like every single creator, certainly UK based, we're just going to be running to a golf course just to do stuff as quickly as possible. But I want to try and take a little bit more of a measured approach. However, getting over to Vegas with Rick again would be, yeah, class. Let's have a look. Hey P, hope you're safe. What tips would you give to a mid-handicapper to get to single figures? Get asked this a lot. Now, it's impossible for me to say. You know, I have no idea about what your game involves. But what you need to do is have a look at your game, have a look at your entire golf game, and just take some stats for, well, as many rounds as possible, but at least 5. Now, what you can do within that time period, if you've got your stats and you do a strokes gained approach, which I recommend maybe through the My Round Pro app, or there's other apps out there that allow you to keep your stats like this, it'll become pretty apparent which part of your game you're going to need to improve to drop your scores the quickest. Because I coach so many players who, like around that mid-handicap range, who strike the ball unbelievable well, who strike it better than the single-figure handicaps, but their putting and their chipping really lets them down. I know single-figure handicaps who actually strike the ball relatively poorly, but their short game is amazing and they're able to get low scores. So it's so dependent on what your game actually entails. So if you keep those stats, that's going to allow you to actually understand a little bit. How much do you practice on put out? Way too much. But it's the only kind of real practice drill that I've got available in my house. So I think I want to get out of quarantine. I think I will still use it. I'm really liking the mat actually. But yeah, probably a little bit too much at the moment. I should be practicing my full swing and doing a bit of stretching. The best drill to fix it across the line at the top. So across the line at the top, when you're getting up to the top of the golf swing, if your club is basically pointing this way, so that would be laid off, that would be kind of like a nice neutral position, and then that would be across the line. Now, if you get across the line, here's the question you've got to be asking yourself. If you get across the line, what problems does that actually cause? Because I've coached players who've been across the line at the top, who've then thrown the club over, so kind of cast it. I've known players who've got across that line and reworked the club so it's in too shallow of a position. And I've known players who get across the line and approach impact in a good manner. Getting across the line at the top of the golf swing and the top of the golf swing in general, the position of your right arm, your right shoulder if you're a right-hander, that's probably more important than where the actual shaft is pointing. Because if you have the capability to rework it on the downswing, being across the line at the top really isn't a problem. I think the top of the backswing position, it gets a lot of attention as far as the club is concerned because it's easy to see. It's like so many things within the golf swing that you could have a look at a position in the swing and be, well, you know, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look like the perfect technical model. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good movement for your swing. It might be essential to your swing. So don't just assume that because it's because it's across the line, that that's actually going to be a problem. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Get yourself a lesson. Do you think golf helps mental health? It can do. I would say that probably when I was younger and when I was trying to get better, it probably didn't actually. It probably caused more stress than it should have because I really wanted to get good, and when I wasn't improving as fast as I wanted to, it was really it was probably detrimental in many respects. But that was because of my perspective. That wasn't because of the game of golf. So golf in general, if you can treat it as a game and not take it too seriously, yes. Oh my God, 100%. I mean, just think about the things that it does, you know. It gets you out in the fresh air. It gets you walking a decent distance. You actually burn surprisingly a lot of calories when you're out there as well. But it also gets you in touch with other golfers. You know, if you're at a good golf club, if you're a member, for example, or even if you're just a friendly club, you know, you can meet so many great people there. So it's absolutely, I'm not going to say it's essential, but it can have a massive impact on your mental health in a positive way. So can many sports clubs. You know, this isn't something which is unique to golf. You could be a member of a football club, cricket club, tennis club, croquet club, darts club, knitting club. I don't know. I'm not just going to keep listing clubs. It's good to be part of a club. Well, not every club. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some cults that you won't want to be a member of. Beard or no beard, depends how lazy I'm being. I kind of fancy maybe shaving it off just a touch, to be honest. Okay, new club in the bag. Let's have a look at this one. Seems like a long one. What putting stroke do you prefer? An arc or straight back and straight through stroke? So, if I get my putter here. Now, just notice that as I set this putter, I'm going to say set this putter down, as I'm pointing it towards the camera here, the bottom angle here, Jesus, I really need some more caffeine, but it's late. As I put it down, notice we've got nice levels here, and then the shaft goes off on an angle. The reason that the shaft goes on an angle is because you're stood at the side of the ball and you're tilted over. Because you're tilted over and you rotate around the spine, that angle will cause an arc to appear, within the stroke. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter what type of putter you use, okay? So if it's a centre shafted, if it's a toe hang putter, heavy toe hang, whatever. If you're standing at the side of the ball and you have an angle to the shaft, you will have an arc to your putting stroke. If you try and force it straight back and straight through, that's not a correct technique, really. You're going to have to manipulate the hands and the arms. You're going to have to actually move them out and away from the body to cause that straight back and straight through stroke. So every single putter will have an arc. And if you are moving it back on the inside, that club face is opening up, don't try and stop that. If you try and stop that, you'll probably be interrupting the natural flow of your stroke. Probably. Do you base your persona on David Brent? No, actually, he based it on mine. We are actually both fictional characters. This isn't real life that you're watching here. Perfect golf grip, no such thing. I'm a junior. How do you keep positive? I'm a junior. How do you keep your positive head on a golf course? So nobody's perfect. For a start, that as a junior, I was not very good on the course. Well, actually, no, that's not a lie. I was good until I got to about 16, and then I really started to take it seriously. When things didn't go right, I completely lost my head. I'm so much calmer on the golf course now, and that was because of a point in my youth when I was on a par fives at Penwortham Golf Club. It was in the Rose Bowl, which is a kind of scratch competition, and I hit a decent drive on this par five, and I had a 3-wood into the green, and it was about 260, 270. I really had to rip it, and this was, a fair few years ago now. I really had to rip it to get anywhere near the green. I probably shouldn't have taken it on. And I had one of those really tiny tailor-made, what were they called? They had the rails on the bottom. It was a tiny, tiny club head. And I thought, I'm going to give it a rip. So I hit this ball, and I struck it. It felt like I struck it absolutely amazing. I was so, so happy with the strike. Looked up, couldn't see it. I couldn't see the ball anywhere. And everyone was looking around, and they were like, oh, well, it must be up by the green. I said, it must be up by the green. So we'll go and look up the green. Took a step forwards and noticed there was like a hole in the ground. And I was like looking under. And I'd basically just pure topped this ball. And it had gone about that far under the ground. I mean, it was pretty soft, but it had gone like that far under. So I had to dig it out. I had to like have a sand wedge and hack it out of this pitch mark that I'd made. And I just completely lost my head. I was like throwing clubs. My dad was caddying as well. Like I threw my clubs. I didn't speak. I was almost on the verge of tears. I was that angry. You know, it was boiling up inside. And like afterwards, my dad was just saying, you know, that was embarrassing. Yeah, I didn't want to be on the golf course with you. And if you act like that on the golf course, you're probably better finding another sport. And he was right. I mean, if you're on a golf course and you're so angry about your performance and you're so angry about how everything's going, then choose another sport. It's not worth it. It's a game. You know, a game is meant to be enjoyed. If you're out there and you're suffering from actually playing golf, what's the point? You know, pick another sport. Golf is a great game, and if you can't learn to appreciate that, then listen, it's probably not for you. If you want a coping mechanism, probably the best one that I've used and I've seen is basically a line of no return. So if you hit a really bad shot and you're angry, you're really frustrated. Tiger uses this, by the way. If you're really angry and frustrated, you know, it's a crap shot. Pick a line, so maybe a couple of yards in front of you. Hopefully the ball has gone past that point. A couple of yards in front of you. And once you've walked past that point, understand that everything that's happened in the past, you can't affect it. So you can forget about it. You just leave it behind. Leave it behind. And once you leave it behind that line, you'll be surprised at how quickly you're able to move on. Understanding the fact that you can't travel back in time and that you can't affect anything that's just happened makes it a hell of a lot easier to let stuff go, I think. Most likely. That's what really helps me anyway. Thoughts on the new KBS wood shafts? I've not really tried that many, to be honest. Did you see the motorbikes ruining the greens at Walton Heath? Yeah. It's, you know, it's frustrating when you see that. I mean, bear in mind, Walton Heath is a very good venue here in the UK, and you know, to see that happen to an illustrious course like that is pretty crap. But this happens on a lot of courses all over the country all the time, and you know, at the end of the day, it's not the golf club's responsibility. You know, it's the responsibility of the idiots who are doing it to understand that, you know, they're causing criminal damage at the end of the day. You know, if they're on a golf course ripping greens up, that is criminal damage. There's a cost associated to that. But I don't think the police can do a lot about it. So unless you're going to start throwing fences up all around the golf courses, you know, it's still going to happen until we move on as a better society. It's not going to stop. But those events are pretty rare. You know, you don't see it all the time. Okay, well, we've got about 10 minutes left for this to export, so, and then I've got to start sending it away. When you arrive at new golf courses, what do you do on the greens to learn the pace? I thank you, first of all. You're assuming that I can do that. One of the really good drills you can do, and bear in mind, not all the golf courses have their practice green the same pace as their normal greens, but a really good drill to use is to position yourself somewhere in the middle of the green and actually take aim at the fringe. So not a hole, not anything, just a fringe. Now, when you give yourself a specific target, but not that's a single point, that's actually like a long line, you're able to better judge distance. So it's not an accuracy drill. It's just a distance drill. Then take your putter in one hand and try and hit those putts to the fringe. Basically try and get them landing just on that spot. You'd be amazed at how quickly that attunes you to the pace of the greens. And I don't think I found something pre-round which is better than that. So, certainly for the longer distance putts anyway. It's kind of hard though if you're a new course, especially if it's super fast. Favourite golf swing on European Tour? Stenson, Molinari. McIlroy, Stenson, Molinari, definitely Stenson, Molinari. Okay. What would you recommend as an affordable ride for beginners? I think, first of all, you know, you need to understand what your budget is. that's got to be the key starting point. I'd always go, if you're a beginner golfer, for a second-hand club rather than a brand new club. So you can go on eBay, Golf Bidder. I mean, there's so many good drivers on Golf Bidder now for a decent price. If you have an idea of what you need, so yeah, you're probably not going to need like an X-stiff shaft or anything like that. So something regular, something with a fair bit of loft, which is going to be forgiving. Start with those basics. It can vary from individual to individual, but that might help. And then, don't spend any more than kind of 50, 80 quid if that's your maximum budget. When you're a beginner, you don't need amazing clubs. You just need something that the heads aren't going to fly off. That's it, really. I mean, once you start getting into golf, you'll soon start spending money. Don't worry about that. Trust me. Okay, let's have a few more. Let's have a look. What's this? Any advice on when to turn pro? So it depends on what type of pro you want to be. So if you want to be a PGA pro and you're into your coaching, you want to run a club, whatever it may be, then as soon as you get down to 4, turn pro. I mean, at the end of the day, the quality of the playing professional now, if you're not turning pro off kind of like +3, +4, you're probably going to be quite far behind the pack. I mean, the standard of amateur golf now at that elite level is so high. There's always outliers, so, turning off scratch and then becoming really good pros. But like generally speaking, if you can't get yourself down to that super low handicap, that's, it's going to be tough to then improve after that point. Not impossible, it's something that I'm trying to do, but if you don't get that really good coaching, that really good access early on, it's very, very hard to then make those professional playing ranks. But if you want to be a PJ pro, just turn pro as soon as you can. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to stay amateur if you want to do it as a profession. So turn as soon as you can. And you don't have to be a professional golfer to be a coach, by the way. George Gankas, one of the best golf coaches in the world. He's not a pro. Claude Harmon III, he's not a pro. He's not a professional. You don't need to have that low handicap to be a professional. Does that make sense? Throat's closing up. So, look, how do you mark your golf ball? With a ball marker. How much do you miss golf? I miss golf exceptionally. How do you find your go-to shot? So I think most golfers, when they start out, will have a recognizable bad shot. It's either a big hook or a slice, for example. If you're a slicer or a hooker, I think we all know what I mean. Generally, if you have a hook, that could turn into a draw. If you have a slice, that can turn into a fade, if that's your natural kind of predilection to that shot. But the only way to really find a natural swing is to get your fundamentals really nailed down. So posture, get a decent grip, all those aim, all that type of thing. And then just see what type of shot shape is coming out. That's going to give you a good steer. If you like the look of it as well, so if you're comfortable seeing the ball move from left to right like I am, I've always faded the ball. If I'm comfortable seeing that flight, so that's my natural shot. If I've got a left to right dog leg or whatever like that, that looks so much better to me. But hey, okay, let's have a look. Answer a few more. Let's have a look at this one. You are a chopper. Okay, so just for future reference, Seb, it's Y-O-U, then an R, then an E, a chopper. You're a chopper, not you are a chopper. That's going to be difficult to understand. And to be honest, at the moment, could be a bit of a chopper once I get back out on the golf course. Who knows? I think everyone's going to be in the same boat. I'm going to be an amazing putter from like under 10 foot. It's going to be pretty exceptional. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be getting back out onto the golf course and striking it incredibly well. But you never know. It might have the reverse effect. If you go out onto the golf course with very low expectations, then yeah, it might work. It might work better than most, but yeah, I'm not completely confident. Ah, dear. Right, what's this one? Where do you see golf in 10 years PR wise? I think it's going to be very similar to what it is today, to be honest. Golf in my respect is hampered by, it's an expensive sport. It's a long sport to play. So this is why you always get this kind of, this weird makeup of, certainly if you look at a golf club membership, you get this really weird makeup of having some decent juniors, and if it's got a good junior section, absolutely perfect. So you've got a good junior section, wonderful. Then when people start to get to kind of 18 to 21, that's when they become students. So a lot of golf courses have student memberships, which is cheaper, great. But then a lot of courses, once you start getting past 21, it's going to be a full price for a membership. So you go from 21 through till what? Kind of about 40. So when you're trying to get a job, when you're trying to move up in the world, when you're having a family, all these things take up so much time that people start to re-enjoy golf clubs when they're like 40 to 50. The amount of lessons that I have in who say exactly the same thing. Oh, I played when I was younger, then I got married, then I got, started to work, got kids, all the rest of it. But now I want to get back into it. I've lost count. Literally hundreds and hundreds. So the only problem that golf really has is that gap where people aren't continuing to play because of those constraints. And this has been the problem with golf for decades. So, yeah. Is that Buzzer I saw? Oh, Buzzer 1982. Need a caddy next year for Sunningdale foursomes. Buzzer, I need to speak to you, by the way. If everyone can get into the comments and wish my mate Buzzer happy birthday for a few days ago. I only saw just before on Facebook, mate. I missed that your birthday was a few days ago, so I apologise for that. But everyone get into those comments. Wish Buzzer a happy birthday. Buzzer's one of the best golfers who I've ever played with. Qualified for European Tour and has, had a really bad injury. So always rooting for you to get back on the course, mate. If you want to, if you want to come caddy for me, that would be great. Although, to be honest, I think you'd find it kind of frustrating. An amazing golfer like you, watching me hit some terrible shots. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, happy birthday, mate. If you want to come caddy, absolutely, pal. We'll have a few beers after. It's been too long, way too long. So, ever played Bethpage Black? No, I haven't. Let's look at this one. What was your handicap age 12? So I didn't have one. I only really started to, I think would have got my first handicap at maybe 14, something like that. I didn't start playing golf till quite late. I was always more into football. So I was a better footballer. I was a decent-ish footballer when I was a kid. And then I got to about 15, 16. Other players were just getting better at me than football. And I was actually starting to get better at other players than golf. So that's when I actually made the switch. So, but at 16, I think I was only, what would I have been? Off maybe 7, 6, something like that. That's when I tried to really start to get my handicap down. That's when I started to take it a little bit more seriously. But yeah, I was always more into my football, which I don't think, I don't think it helped, but I don't think it hampered. I think, kids and juniors should play multiple sports. Playing different sports, gives you different advantages. So how do you practice? Not much at the moment. Getting this question a lot, actually, as well. How did you start your YouTube channel? I think a lot of people, sat at home wondering if they can do it. Absolutely. I started my YouTube channel absolutely purely for lessons. So I was coaching at Trafford Golf Centre, and at Trafford Golf Centre there was Rick, who I went to college with. There was Andy Carter, who I went to college with. Sam Mellor, who I went to college with. We all kind of rejoined there. But Rick was by far the busiest coach, and what Rick was doing that no one else was doing, he was doing a YouTube channel. And I'd never really understood what it was about until that point. But Rick was the busiest golf coach, and I thought, you know what? If I want to make some money coaching, I'll just give that a go, see what happens. just started making videos, uploaded them, no real idea what the hell I was doing, and then just got better at it, started to made loads of mistakes, and then just started to get recognized a bit more. Lessons started coming in that allowed me to invest more money into equipment. I think a lot of people who want to start golf YouTube channels often struggle because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. Take a lot of money at all. You can do everything on your phone, but it takes a lot of investment of time to actually get something started. So I was lucky the fact that my YouTube channel was benefiting my lessons. My lessons were paying me money. So that was my marketing. Like the YouTube was my marketing. So it all kind of paid for itself. And now I only do 1 day of coaching a week, and the rest is just YouTube videos. So I got into it that way, and it paid for itself. So I often find people struggle to start a YouTube channel up just because of that time, because it does take a long time to get noticed. Well, for most people. Okay, I'll get a couple more questions because I am at 98% exported with this video. Make sure you go check out the Rough Cut podcast as well, guys. I've just seen a few more questions about that. I'm liking these questions, by the way. There's loads and loads in. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to get to them all. I'd love to come back to Canada. Let's have a look at this one. What is the best golf brand? No such thing anymore. Probably the way I'd explain this is that golf companies now have access to... They all have access to really good engineers, all the best minds. So when it gets to the point that Mizuno, everybody knows their irons, amazing irons. Mizuno are making good drivers now. Mizuno drivers for such a long time felt pretty good, but were pretty crap really in distance. They never reached the heights of their competitors. Now all of a sudden, Mizuno are making good drivers. Now, if Mizuno make good drivers, that really does mean that the field is now level. Like they're all making really, really good golf clubs. If you go get fit at Callaway one day for irons, you go to Mizuno the next day, you're going to come out with a really good set of irons. And it's the same across the board. I mean, I think there are certain brands, let's say Ping, for example. So Ping are pretty renowned for making very good, forgiving golf clubs. But even that, I mean, everyone's making forgiving golf clubs now. Now, they're all good. Like, they're all good. There's no such thing as a best golf brand. It's the one that you identify with the most, probably. Okay, let's have a few more. What are your thoughts on stack and tilt? Oh, God, remember stack and tilt? It was probably maybe about 8-10 years ago, stack and tilt was all the rage. Here's what I'd say about, not just stack and tilt, but every now and again you'll get something which rises to the surface of a new technique which is going to revolutionize golf. So, yeah, you're thinking about stack and tilt. You think about kind of what David Ledbetter tried to do a few years ago with the A-swing, all the rest of it. And all these methods have something in common. So what the coaches will say is that, listen, golf, it's been taught wrong for years. It's something which shouldn't be this hard. It's an individual sport. Why are you trying to coach yourself into this perfectly technical model? It's not the right way. But we have the right way. It's our method that's going to get you to where you want to be. And it's the same thing. It's just every golfer that you will see has a different type of golf swing. And the best coaches make a swing and they mold a swing around that student's current capabilities. And if they want to, really revolutionize that swing and they really want to change it, and, I've done some pretty big swing rebuilds with clients that I've had, it's not about fitting them into a stack and tilt swing. It's not about fitting them into a George Ganker style of swing. It's not about the A-swing. It's about seeing what they have at their disposal and then trying to get the most out of them. So if you want to commit to a certain swing method, fine, but I would always recommend go seeing a coach who coaches you as an individual, not as just a set of pictures or a set of numbers. That's my opinion on that. And I think stack and tilt's quite hard as well. Like it's quite a hard movement to make in some respects. And you don't hear as much of it nowadays. There's some aspects of it I like, but like the whole package, nah, not for me. Right, I'm going to answer one more question. Any clouds of GM Golf? Yes, going to do that. Let's have a look at this one. This is quite a long one, so we'll finish on this one. Nico Bartham. Hi, Pete, hope you're well. Any tips for improving hip mobility in the backswing, would that be? I need to work on opening the hips more. I'm guessing that is, what does it say? To generate more power. So, hips in the backswing. Allow me to rise from my seat for this last question. Right, now, a lot of people, when they start to swing, can I tip this down just a touch? There we go, hopefully it doesn't fall over. A lot of people, when they start to swing in the backswing, they try and restrict the hips and rotate their shoulders against that point, okay? Now, that right hip, if you can move it around, but also try and keep it a little bit lower because you don't want it kind of lifting up and high. If you can rotate that right hip and you actually focus on that rotating, you can actually turn the body a lot more easier in the backswing. So rather than trying to restrict it, actually try and rotate and turn that hip a little bit more. Now, if you are struggling with actually rotating that hip, allow your left heel, can't be able to see it, that thing, allow that left heel to actually rise off the ground. So as I rise that left heel off the ground, you can actually see it starting to preset that hip, and then I can just turn nice and deep into that position. So that right hip mobility and actually rotating into it, yeah, it's absolutely key. The only other thing I would say is a really good drill to use. Oh God, getting up again, bloody hell. I'm going to be bloody knackered by this. A really good drill to use is with a chair. Oh, don't want to snap a shaft. Is if, it's not quite high enough. Is with a chair, if you basically put it on your right hip, like so. If you put it on your right hip in the backswing, if you slide, that's not going to enable you to turn as easily. So if you keep that just outside the hip and then actually try and turn on the inside, that's going to allow you to rotate whilst also maintaining a decent spine angle. That's a nice little drill for you to use. Right, my video has exported and I'm absolutely knackered. Wow. You can tell I've not really left the house today, can't you? I'm kind of pooped from doing absolutely no work at all. Are you gaining weight like Bryson? No, I'm gaining weight like a warthog at the moment. I've kind of realised how much I rely on golf to keep my weight down. And I'm not going for as many runs as I should do, but I kind of started a little bit of a better diet this last week, so I'm kind of not drinking. Well, I had a drink last night, but not really had any beers for a week. Not really eating that much crap. Getting out for a little bit more of a walks and runs. Not so much today, but again, tomorrow will be. So, yeah. I'm not quite bulking like Bryson. I need to go to bed. I might watch a rerun of Medina tonight. Right, guys and girls, thank you so much. Why don't you get a simulator like Rick? Not enough room here, unfortunately. I've got an old Victorian terrace in the middle of Manchester, which is amazing, apart from if you want a simulator. I've only got like a tiny yard at the back. Again, amazing for upkeep. Not good if you want a simulator, unfortunately. Lessons to be learned. Right, see you guys in a bit. Make sure you hop over to my YouTube channel. Got a new video out with Eric and his line, just a clip from the podcast. And then that'll link you to the main podcast as well. Well worth a listen. Really nice chat, Eric, and a really nice chat that it was as well. All right. Thanks for the chat. Oh, thanks for the chat. Thumbs up. We'll see you tomorrow. I've been doing live videos pretty much every day for a few days. Pretty much every day for 3 days. Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go. I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Bye.